I'm 81 years old. I woke up this morning with that familiar stiffness in my hands, and for some reason, before my feet even touched the floor, it finally landed on me why I never felt successful. That word followed me my whole life, successful. I chased it without really knowing what it was supposed to feel like. I thought I'd recognize it when I got there, but I never did. And now, with more years behind me than ahead, I understand why. Time feels different now. It doesn't rush, it just sits with you. Every day feels thin, like paper held up to the light. I notice how quiet the house is, how my thoughts echo longer than they used to. Mortality isn't dramatic at this age. It's practical. It's in the way you plan your groceries. It's in the way you don't buy green bananas anymore. I spend a lot of time looking back, not because I want to relive things, but because the present doesn't ask much of me anymore. The past still does. In my 20s, I was sure I was doing everything right. I wasn't reckless. I wasn't lazy. I worked hard. I showed up early. I stayed late. I honestly believed, that if I just kept my head down and did what was expected, life would open up. I got my first real job at 23. Nothing glamorous, an office with flickering lights and metal desks that hummed when you leaned on them. I remember how proud I felt wearing a tie every day, how it made me feel like an adult, like someone who mattered. I told myself I'd do it for a few years, just long enough to get stable. That word mattered to me, stable. I grew up without much, and stability felt like success itself. Then a few years turned into a decade. Promotions came, slowly. Paychecks got bigger. Responsibilities piled up. I was always busy, always tired, always telling myself this was temporary. I got married in my early 30s. She was patient, kinder than I deserved, probably. We talked about the future the way young people do, like it was guaranteed. Kids someday, travel someday, rest someday. I meant every promise. That's the part people don't understand. I didn't lie. I delayed. There were dinners I missed because of meetings that could have waited. Weekends I spent catching up instead of sitting on the floor with my kids. I told myself I was doing it for them. I believed that, too. The damage didn't come all at once. That's the dangerous part. It came in small moments that didn't feel important at the time. A birthday dinner rescheduled. A school play I arrived late to, slipping into the back row while everyone else was already clapping. A conversation cut short because my phone rang. Each moment felt harmless, necessary even, but they added up quietly, like dust settling on furniture you stop noticing. By my 40s, I was what people called successful. Good title, nice car, respect at work. People asked me for advice. My parents bragged about me. And yet, there was always this low hum inside me, a sense that I was standing next to my life instead of inside it. I was always thinking ahead. Once this project is done, once the kids are older, once we save a little more, once things slow down. Things never slowed down. My marriage didn't explode. It didn't end in screaming or betrayal. It faded. We became efficient partners instead of companions. Conversations turned into logistics, groceries, bills, schedules. I noticed it, but I didn't stop it. I thought we had time. That's the lie I told myself more than any other, that there would be time later to fix what I was neglecting now. The turning point didn't come with fireworks. It came with a phone call. I was in my late 50s when my wife got sick, not suddenly, gradually. At first, it was doctor appointments we joked about, then treatments, then quiet fear we didn't talk about. I sat beside her in waiting rooms, finally still, finally present, and I remember thinking how strange it was that it took illness to slow me down enough to notice her fully again. She died on a Tuesday, the kind of ordinary detail that sticks with you. I remember the light in the room, the sound of machines, the weight of her hand in mine. Clarity is cruel like that. It arrives when there's nothing left to do with it. After she was gone, the things I thought mattered felt hollow. Work felt loud and pointless. The title on my door meant nothing in an empty house. My kids were grown up by then. They loved me, I think, but they didn't need me the way I needed them. They had their own lives, their own busyness. I saw myself in them and felt a strange mix of pride and regret. Retirement came quietly, no ceremony. One day I just stopped going in. I thought I'd feel relief. Instead, I felt exposed. Without work to hide behind, there was nowhere left to run. The question I had avoided my whole life finally sat down across from me. What was all that for? I had achieved what I set out to achieve, and yet something essential was missing. Success, as I'd defined it, was external, measurable, safe. But fulfillment requires presence. It requires choosing people over progress, sometimes without a reward. I see now that I was always waiting for permission to live fully, permission that never came. There are things I can't fix, conversations I can't have, apologies that would arrive too late to matter, time that doesn't respond to regret. Old age is lonely in a very specific way, not dramatic, just quiet. Friends disappear one by one. Some move away, some die, some simply stop calling. You learn to make peace with your own company, whether you like it or not. I'm grateful for many things. I had food on the table. I had meaningful work. I loved and was loved, even if imperfectly. Gratitude and sorrow can exist in the same breath. I know that now. If you're listening to this and you're younger, I'm not here to tell you what to do. Life doesn't work that way. But I will tell you this gently. Be careful what you postpone. Be careful what you assume will still be there. Success that costs you your presence is an expensive bargain, and you don't get a refund at the end. These days, I sit by the window in the afternoons. I watch the light move across the floor. I think about the man I was, the man I tried to be, and the man I am now. I don't hate him. I understand him. That's the closest thing to peace I've found. If this meant something to you, maybe sit with it for a moment before moving on. Some realizations don't need to be rushed. At 81, I've learned that acceptance isn't loud. It's just quiet enough to let you breathe.